What's up, everybody, and welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. I'm Drew Bosley. That's the one, the only. It is Scott Savage. Scott, what's going on, buddy?
Oh, I've been dusting off Age of Empires 2 all over again. Not sure why I went all the way back to 2.
That's an interesting one. What else have you been playing? What were you playing over the weekend?
Oh, over the weekend we hunted some monsters. We did some Wild Hearts. Everything's really a blur to me. He's keep me busy on the show here, so it's just one after the other after the other.
Yeah.
Metroid Prime is one that I'm going to have a hard time putting down now.
Nice. Dude, playing a lot of Hitman freelancer mode. Like, it's now my DLC of the year. Like, it is.
Oh.
I am hooked. What an incredible move by IO Interactive. Absolutely love it. It is fantastic. It's so addictive to go out and then grind your way. And then if you fail, devastation. But I don't feel like it's like some of those roguelikes that I've played in the past where I'm just like, okay, that's it, I'm out. This is like, no, this is my world. Yo, I'm coming back and I'm taking out those targets and I'm moving on to the next one because I love it. It's like, it's got the stealth element, Scott.
You're reminding me. I have to get back to Deathloop.
Oh, well, yeah. All right. I can see that. Definitely playing a lot of Wild Hearts over the weekend as well. Dude, grinding out the weapons and things like that has just been a blast. Hanging out with my brother and yourself. We've been in there.
Oh, that's
every
right.
night.
I got the bigger hammer now. That's right.
Thing is massive. It's bigger than you, right? It's one of those.
Oh, easily.
Yeah, it's funny. I switched my weapon last night, downgrading my weapon, believe it or not, of choice, because the bow and arrow is just so much quicker. It's definitely more my speed than kind of being slowed around by the hand cannon. My brother's got the hand cannon, you got the hammer, and I got the bow and arrow. I just need to start leveling up my bow and arrow, and then I'll be right there with you. But yeah, I'm pumped. Man, there's so much to do in that game, and just go out and hunt and have a great time and chill out. So story's there, but nobody really cares. That's
yeah,
how that
at least
works.
I haven't.
No, I haven't at all, really. And then, of course, we've been playing a little bit of Siege.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
There's another one. I think we missed out on that one.
We
didn't we?
Yes, because we were playing Wild Hearts. So that's how it's going. But yo, what's going on is what we're doing right now, live every day, Monday to Friday at noon Eastern. You can join us live over on twitch.tv/theofficialitg, as well as youtube.com/c/theofficialitg. But if you can't join us live, it's up later inside the game.ca podcast services and TV streaming networks around the globe. Scott, today's an interesting show. Ubisoft has started to close some of their European offices down, which is unfortunate news, but is this just the beginning? I got a couple thoughts on how this is going to turn out. The Last of Us Part 2 is more than just a season's worth of content. So maybe season 3 coming to HBO? We'll talk about that one. And is Fortnite going to be going first person? Part of me not surprised. Dude, it's going to be a big change up, right?
I've seen a lot of memes, but I'm wondering.
Ooh, meme this. Ubisoft's closing multiple offices, rumor claims. Mike Straw over at Insider Gaming had this to say. With the decline in physical game sales, Ubisoft is closing multiple offices in an email obtained and shared on Reset Era. Not cool. The publisher will close offices located mostly in Europe. One of the offices specifically mentioned is Ubisoft Benelux, I'm going to go with. According to the email, the decision is blamed on the company facing, quote, several challenges due to external factors, end quote. Those at the aforementioned office will depart the company starting April 1st. Quote, as we all know, the market is constantly evolving in an organization, we need to keep up with it, end quote. The email reads, quote, at this time, Ubisoft is facing several challenges due to external factors, such as the decline in sales volume of physical games in favor of digital sales, the centralization of marketing by digitizing all our communication channels, the shift from major retail releases to free-to-play, mobile, and seasonal games, and less major physical shows, end quote. It continues, to meet the challenges of the future, Ubisoft's management has decided to close a number of subsidiaries in Europe. Scott, it's just the beginning, dude. This is just the beginning. Now, granted, hearts go out to those who are affected by all these offices closing and such. Hopefully they'll be able to figure out what to do next. Physical versus digital, Scott.
Yeah, I didn't think that would really hurt the bottom line that much. I didn't think it worked like that.
It's a different process, right? Depending on some of those offices. But I think it goes from the offices and then, well, okay, before we get to that point, I'm going to go with the presence of physical shows have changed as well, right? E3 is
Mm.
not the E3 we once had. PAX is changing. PAX is still there. Like GDC is still around, but everybody now is taking more of a digital presence as well. But that way, having their own showcase, having everybody tune in for just their content, and not battling out over, E3 or the foray of whatever you get throughout PAX, trying to beat out that announcement versus this announcement. You can just time it and say, hey, we're going to be live. Here's our showcase, and Ubisoft Forward is going to be this, or the Ubisoft. Yeah, it's Ubisoft Forward is what it's been. So, are you surprised on that front at all, Scott? Sounds like you are.
No, that actually does make sense. Taking away the physical events,
Yeah.
that would simplify the production for those kind of events a lot. But
Sure.
to close entire offices down, I'd be surprised if everybody in that office building worked in one task in
Sure.
general. So it feels like quite a large layoff.
Okay, this is where I think it starts to trickle. The snowball effect, I think, is going to start hitting studios, right? And I think the reason behind that is because you've had games like Skull and Bones, like Beyond Good and Evil 2, Scott, that just haven't seen the light of day and been in production forever. Hard to make money when all you keep doing is spending money to keep the game alive and not just flat out cancel it. Over the past little while, Ubisoft has canceled numerous games, some we haven't heard of, some we have heard of, right? The fact that Beyond Good and Evil 2 is still in production, I think, blows my mind. Right? Skull and Bones is another one. Saw just another recent delay. He's been pushed once more. Do we actually have a confirmed date? I don't think we have an actual release date. Just sometime this year, right?
Yeah, I don't think so since the last push.
Okay, so here's the thing with Skull and Bones. 2 years ago, I want to say it was, maybe a year ago, it was rumored that they've already spent $120 million on production. Yeah, $120 million on production. Dude, they're not going to recoup that. So when you get into these offices that are relying on physical sales, relying on marketing, and doing all this content for the game to get the name out there, the game out there, and everybody know about it and they have a great time, you spend $120 million and don't produce the game, you've got nothing to showcase. Granted, I could be off in my own thoughts here on this process, Scott, but I think this is going to start to trickle down a little bit when you spend this kind of money on these games and nothing's going to come. Dude, they're not going to recoup the money here whatsoever when it comes to Skull and Bones.
Yeah, it's so far into production now. Do you make it free to play to try and recoup that over a service kind of thing? What a nightmare in that situation.
Absolutely. And we've heard too from the inside that the developers themselves are worried about Skull and Bones, which is never a good sign, right? They should be pumped and excited to say, hey, here it is. And then on top of that, dude, Prince of Persia Remake is another one, right? They took that away from the studio in Mumbai, I think it was, and then brought it back. And like Montreal is now working on it. Things are not going well over there for Ubisoft. Just more and more troubled waters kind of hitting the platform, hitting that company. And I'm now worried about the future of studios, right? When you start to see offices being closed, dude, that's only the beginning. I think we're going to see this trickle down even further. Now, granted, there are a couple things that are working, right? Obviously, those that we just mentioned are not working. Another one I want to quickly touch on, which is just, it's close to me, but it kind of breaks my heart a little bit, is Ghost Recon Frontline, right? Ghost Recon, I love that franchise. Absolutely adore that franchise. Breakpoint, yeah, Wildlands is my go-to. It's funny because I just downloaded it. Dude, I downloaded it the other day and was playing it.
I saw you online again.
So, but then they announced Frontline, comes out, and I'm like, what is this? And everybody had the same reaction of, this isn't Ghost Recon, right? They try to make it a battle royale, fast-paced, first-person shooter. I was like, man, this is not what we're used to.
Yeah, to borrow the Ghost Recon name for that didn't seem like a good idea. Not to me.
No, absolutely. So then, on the other side of that, right, then we can get into things that are working, like Ghost Recon Wildlands. That one did work. That one sold well. It met expectations, and then I think even surpassed those in the long run. More and more content came out for that game, and a lot of us loved it. We even saw a multiplayer mode there with Mercenaries, which was this mini battle royale of like 8 people would drop into the world. You'd have this section off, and then you go and loot stuff just like a regular battle royale, but it was only limited to 8 people. Dude, it was a blast. I absolutely adored it, and it kept it alive. It was fantastic. And then we got Breakpoint, didn't work. Frontline was announced, then taken back, right?
Yeah, we have doubling, tripling down on Assassin's Creed.
Well, yeah, absolutely, right? We get all the Assassin's Creed info that we're starting to see around here lately, and man, we're gonna get exhausted with Assassin's Creed, because what happened was Valhalla is their biggest Assassin's Creed sell to date. It made huge numbers, more and more content coming out. They were putting DLC out for it, and then did a whole spin-off with Mirage, which is supposed to be out this summer. Hopefully soon we'll see more on that. I'm expecting probably E3 we get some word on that. So, the
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed franchise is keeping Ubisoft alive. I think another one too, Scott, is one we play every night almost, is Rainbow Six. That live service experience that we get day in, day out for Rainbow Six is got a massive community behind it. Whether it works sometimes or whether it doesn't, we have ups and downs, and a live service game is going to have its ups and downs, but they're able to keep that community going and keep them engaged. We're heading into season 8. Dude, I'm pumped.
Yeah.
The new operator, Bravo, looks incredible. Like, I'm excited, right? So those are
We need something to go really well for Ubisoft to kind of stabilize the boat.
Well, then, speaking of, Scott, is Avatar Frontiers of Pandora the one that's going to bring them back around, right? This is studio that brought us the Division 1 and 2. The Division 2 just dropped season 11. So that's another live service game that keeps on pumping out more and more, and people are loving that, looking for more. They're supposed to end at season 9, right? Okay, so this is how successful Massive has been for Ubisoft with the Division. The Division 2 at season 9 was supposed to be the last one. Fans wanted more, so they gave them more with season 10. Now they just dropped season 11. There's a reason why they keep coming back, right? When you take a look at Destiny with Bungie, dude, people keep coming day in and day out for that game. The Division is the same thing. I think it's working well for Ubisoft. Between the Division,
it sounds like games as a service are the most successful things that Ubisoft has at the moment going for it, which is not my favorite. But does that mean we're going to see everything from Ubisoft turned into a service model?
Well, so we're getting the Assassin's Creed, right? We just touched on that. We're getting Assassin's Creed. They call it Infinity, where they're bundling everything into this one ecosphere kind of. Oh, man, I don't know about this, but they're trying to piggyback off of that. Mirage is going to be single player focused, back to the old school, which I'm pumped for. But then there's so many other aspects that are coming out with Assassin's Creed that are going to cater to so many different audiences. So I think Assassin's Creed, they're putting all their chips in one basket and banking off of that. Rainbow Six is going to keep it alive. The Division is still going, but from Frontiers of Pandora drops with Avatar, is that single player only? Like, that makes sense to me. Be single player only.
I think so.
Right? So, and then they've got a Star Wars game in development and a little bit known of X Defiant. So, I don't know. But I'm worried for the other studios that we talked about right off the top, right? The ones working on Skull and Bones, the ones working on Beyond Good and Evil 2. The production has been around for so long in these games, and yet we've basically seen very little. Or, little beta drops here or there. And then Prince of Persia comes in. Man, I think Ubisoft's going to drop some of their studios. And I wonder if they're going to drop some of these studios and then look to sell.
Oh.
Right? Because we've heard rumblings of that as well.
But yeah, it's certainly not impossible.
No, it's not. Definitely not, right? So there's definitely a lot to kind of take into with Thieves Go and what he's trying to do over there with Ubisoft. And I wonder how many other people and other developers are worried about what their games are going to do, if they're going to be around or how they're going, because if they start shutting down certain things, it normally trickles down. So time will tell, Scott. But what we need is more time for The Last of Us. Is The Last of Us Part 2 more than a season's worth of television? Says showrunner Craig Mazin. Dude, this is fantastic. Last night's episode was incredible.
I've still avoided spoilers somehow. I see little bits and then I just close my phone.
You've got to get over there and start watching them. You got to catch up, because next week is it. It's over. Done. Finished. Finale, Scott.
Okay.
Yeah. You've got 9 episodes. You've got 8 to catch up on if you're going to make it for Sunday's episode, which is apparently the shortest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the kind of meh.
As a finale, it's the shortest?
Yep. Yeah.
That's strange.
They opened up with an hour and a half in the first episode, which is basically like 2 episodes. I think they combined into one. And then they just gave us 9. But last night's episode, I was like, so as we were watching it, Crystal's asking questions. I'm just kind of looking. I'm like, I already know.
Just wait.
I'm just like, ha, ha, ha. It was good. I'm like, yeah, let's go. So yeah, we're about to wrap it all up, but let's get into what David over at PSU has to say. While we know HBO's The Last of Us will cover the entirety of the first game in one season, talks about what to do for The Last of Us Part 2 story being adapted have already pushed things into 2 seasons worth of story. That is, in showrunner Craig Mazin's opinion. Mazin has already spoken about this when the show premiered its first episode, talking about how there's just a lot more story to get through. Quote, because it's a much bigger story and much more complicated story, it's a beautiful story. End quote, Mazin said. HBO has already renewed the show for a second season. Filming should even reportedly start soon. Dude, I'm pumped. We're going to be quite a ways out from actually getting any content, though, when it comes to season 2. And then I wonder, man, there's a lot to tell, right? So part 1 was, I think, your typical length for a single player game, where part 2, I'm like, man, this is, like, we're still going. And then it's still going. And we're still going. So there's
is it much longer?
Yeah, dude, it's like probably twice the length.
Okay.
So when we get it's funny because with part 1, we actually got the DLC story in last week's episode. So we got Left Behind, which was fantastic. I thought it was a great episode. It's funny how they build up. It's a zombie post-apocalyptic game. The show is the same thing, but there is so many less infected to deal with within the show. But they build that tension all the time, all throughout the episode, and then you're like, huh, there's just 1 or 2 or maybe 3. Like it's so well done, dude. There's gonna be so many awards and things. I'm so excited for Naughty Dog. I'm so excited for everybody who worked on the show, Pascal, and everybody who's a part of this television series, to see it now move into season 2, what we're gonna get with season 2, and then season 3, because it sounds like they're going to split it up. Dude, there's so many characters and people we can talk about and have kind of intermingled their little pieces within part 2. You have Abby, you have so many other characters there, and her significant other, and then Joel and what's going on there, and his brother. Like, dude, there's so much to talk about. Like, it is mind-blowing. And you're so far behind.
I'm so far behind.
Dude,
I'm stuck. Is it better to experience it as a game or as a show? Being that I don't know much, I only know about what will be season 2.
So, okay, because I played the game and then watched it, I already knew what was happening with some aspects to it, right? I'm like, okay, this is what's coming. Where Crystal's never seen me play the first game, so when she's watching it, she's like, what's gonna happen here? What's gonna happen there? And this kind of, so there's 2 aspects of how to do this, right? And when
high suspense.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, I almost want you to, I think, watch the show first and then play the game, just so that when you're there, because they lined up certain parts differently for the show than they did with the game. But it all plays out so well. Like, it's incredible series so far. Definitely excited for this week's final episode, see how that plays out. But dude, go watch the show and then play the game. So we do know part 1's coming to PC sooner than later, so we'll see what happens there. Dude, we're into topic number 3, so let's get going. Fortnite first person mode is reportedly coming with the game's next season. Michael over at PSU, once again, Epic Games will be adding a first-person mode to Fortnite for its next season, according to a noted leaker, HyperX, on Twitter. HypeX, sorry. I was like, HyperX is
yeah, it's a company.
Yeah,
series.
Peripheral, mics and whatever. Yeah. We're not sponsored. While it isn't yet known how the first-person mode will be introduced to Fortnite, it's worth noting that a number of firearms in the game, including a first-person mode, will when aiming. So presumably, it won't be too hard to simply lock players into the first-person perspective. Dude, I'm surprised it's not already there.
Yeah, kind of.
Right?
Well, PUBG always had the option of switching back and forth, so it just made sense to be there. But I never really considered that.
Yeah, Fortnite's never had that option, right? When you aim down sights, especially in snipers, right? You go down the scope, there you are. but everything else has always been third person. So here we
Yeah,
go. No, Fortnite's
my
current
favorite type of aiming where you just squint.
yeah, Fortnite's current season is set to wrap up on March 8th, although Epic Games has yet to reveal when the next season will kick off. Season 2 of the Battle Royale's game's latest chapter is reportedly set to include an Attack on Titan themed battle pass. Doesn't do anything for me. I've never really watched that show. I know a lot of people have and love it though. But Fortnite Chapter 4 launched at the end of the year and is a major update, featuring numerous skins based on major gaming franchises, including Doom and The Witcher. Epic Games also moved development of Fortnite to the Unreal Engine 5, bringing with it a number of enhancements, including virtual shadow maps and temporal super resolution. Dude, Unreal Engine 5 stepping up everything when it comes to production of video games. Super cool. Fortnite, my kids are still playing. We were visiting friends yesterday. Their daughter was playing Fortnite on the Switch. Like, it's just
Oh, it's not going anywhere.
It's not, and they keep bringing over more and more people. Who they just had a concert not too long ago. It's escaping me because my kids listen, and I was just like, huh. And they're pumped. And then immediately after it ended, they bought this. No, they already bought the skin before the concert. I was like, oh, what a money-making giant for Epic.
Yeah, really.
Dude, why don't you take the next one? Because I find this one pretty interesting too.
Counter-Strike 2. Counter-Strike 2 could be announced this month, it's claimed. Jordan Midler at VGC writes, Counter-Strike 2 will be announced and reportedly enter beta as soon as this month, a prominent esports journalist has claimed. That's according to Richard Lewis, a journalist with a long record of breaking Counter-Strike related stories, including a match-fixing scandal in 2015. According to Lewis, speaking of sources under the condition of anonymity, that's a fun word, a new version of Counter-Strike is on the way, and that had been worked on for some time. He said, quote, the new version is almost certainly set to be released under the working title, Counter-Strike 2, and the tentative release date for the beta is in this month of March, within April 1st at the outside, end quote. So, essentially, right at the end of this month, according to Lewis sources, the game is about ready to go and has already entered limited testing, which reportedly took place at Valve's headquarters in Seattle. Backing up Lewis' claims are new NVIDIA drivers that introduced support for two new unknown apps, CSGOS2 EXE and CS2 EXE. These are reportedly related to Counter-Strike 2 and have been implemented by NVIDIA ahead of the launch of the new beta. Lewis' report goes on to say that work on Counter-Strike 2 has seemingly contributed to the relative lack of work on CSGO issues. Quote, a big priority is getting this out and then polishing it, fixing any bugs, and bringing it up to a level people expect from CS, end quote, according to Lewis sources. The game will, unsurprisingly, reportedly run on the Source 2 engine. Sources also claim to Lewis that the game would feature servers that would run at 128 tick, bringing it in line with a rival title, Valorant. Valve has yet to comment on this project. Counter-Strike Go remains the most popular game on Valve's Steam platform, regularly attracting more than 1.3 million players every day.
Dude,
so
insane.
Counter-Strike 2 is really a matter of time, in my opinion.
Yep, no, without a doubt. I think it's just a matter of time. So it's nice to see it kind of get stepped up and coming around here shortly, hopefully sooner than later. It's been a long time since they've had this next generational leap, because it's been around for like over a decade now. So
yeah,
right?
Well, CSGO I think came out in 2014 maybe.
Yeah. So see Valorant come out and go, hey, maybe Valve should step up their game a little bit. It's nice to see Valve come back into games. Maybe we'll get Half-Life 3 someday, Scott. Dude,
one day.
We do have a game today though. What do we have?
The Dead Cells Return to Castlevania DLC is out now. Everywhere you can find Dead Cells, which I think includes Xbox One, PS4, Switch, and PC.
That's awesome. Scott, that's going to wrap up today's show, everybody. We will catch you tomorrow. I'm Drew. That's Scott. We'll see you inside the game.